Hey friends, welcome to an episode of Holly's FAQs. Today's frequently asked question that I want to address is for the new real estate agent. And that question is, my buyer got an inspection, what do I do now? Or some variation of that. I read my buyer's inspection and I have no idea what it means. I have no idea what to tell them. I have no idea how to advise them on what to ask for. So 3 things, I kind of want to talk about this really quickly. 3 things to note. First, find a qualified inspector before you need one, okay? Second, learn how to read an inspection report. Get familiar with it. 3, stay in your lane. Okay, so let's talk about those really quick. The first thing that I find happens with new agents, it's just kind of one of those things that maybe someone hasn't told you. There's this whole list of items that you're trying to get done and you're trying to learn, and this sometimes falls through the cracks, and that is kind of building your vendor list. And a lot of that comes with experience, and the more transactions you do, the more connections you make with qualified plumbers and contractors and all those sorts of things. But your inspector, you need to find immediately. Don't wait until you have a buyer and you're scrambling around trying to give them a referral for an inspector. Sometimes they'll use their own and they're welcome to book whoever they want, but 9 times out of 10, they're looking to you as a resource for that. So add this on, your list of things that are very, very important to do, and that is to search for a qualified inspector, ask your realtor friends, ask your friends at your broker, connect with them, call them, see if they'll chat with you about their business, see if they can go over, a sample inspection report with you. But just make sure that you feel comfortable with them and that you have sort of vetted them for your client. So do that first. Number 2, if you don't have the opportunity to look at an inspection report before your very first buyer transaction, then on that first time, you need to open it up and study it. Read everything. Your client's looking at it, they're reading it. I encourage you to go to the inspection the first time. A lot of realtors will disagree with this, and that's fine. But what I typically still do, even after 8 years, and what I would encourage a new agent to do is to go, first you need to encourage your client to go to that inspection. When you're talking to them about scheduling it and how it's going to work, make sure that they know that they should go to the inspection. They should meet the inspector in person. He'll review the report, he'll go through it, summarize it for them, and it's just so much better to have that one-on-one time than it is to just get, a 50-page report with a bunch of things listed on it. So what I would encourage you to do is meet your client for the very, very tail end of it. You don't have to be there. You don't have to walk around. You don't have to open your mouth about anything that has to do with the house. But you can show up and you can be quiet and you can listen and you can hear what they hear and you can see what the inspector is saying. And that way you know what page they're on. And it's good, it's a good learning tool for you. I don't see why you wouldn't want to do that. So if you don't do that, you just need to get really familiar with that. I've had agents that have said, well, I opened it, I don't even know what to look for. And I'm like, well, just start reading it. I mean, the only way you're going to get familiar and to gain the confidence is not from just hoping nothing comes up and hoping you can wash it, under the table and get through the option period. Like, no, you need to be the professional that figures it out, that reads it, that starts getting familiar with where things are in that report. Where's the foundation section? They're all kind of follow the same pattern. So get familiar with that. Don't be caught off guard. Have a really good mentor. That's what I do. I'm a mentor to newer agents. And so they always have me, as a resource, someone to call, and, I'll go through it with them and I'll show them what to look for and how to get through that. So just make sure that you can do that before you've done 2 deals, where you're right in the middle of it and you don't want to feel like stupid to your client. And so that kind of brings me to my next point, stay in your lane. everyone expects the real estate professional to know everything, and so that kind of makes you feel like you have to know everything, and you want to be that person for your clients. But there's a fine line of being the counselor and the experienced professional and giving advice on things you shouldn't be. So I've been a real estate agent for 8 years. I can look at a report and know how much the electrical panel is going to cost, what's probably going to be needing to be fixed before closing, and it still doesn't qualify me to give that advice. That's not my job. My job is to have the resources and to get the information to my clients, to get them comfortable to knowing what to ask for and what not to ask for, to get them pricing, to guide them through it without telling them what they should and shouldn't be asking for. I mean, ultimately, that's not my job. I had, one of my mentees was telling me that her client was just driving her crazy and asking her, all of these questions that she shouldn't be answering. And so part of that is setting the expectation. When you have a buyer orientation, when you meet a client for the first time, whether it's at coffee or through a friend or on the phone or maybe at a house, I always kind of talk them through like, hey, this is how the process is going to work. One day you're going to like a house and we're going to put an offer on it. Here's what happens next. They don't know how to ask you what happens next. You need to tell them. Here's an option period. Here's how it's going to work. We're going to get this inspection. You're going to get this report. We're going to get all of the answers we need from the inspector, from other qualified professionals. I can't, speak on those things. I'm not a qualified roofer. I'm not a qualified electrician. I'm here to help you do your due diligence and counsel you on, how to keep the transaction going, what's important, what's not important to you, not to me, not for me, not for the listing agent, but for you to be comfortable moving forward with this purchase, okay? So I've even had someone tell me that they were staying up at night because they had their first buyer and they went through it, and she was thinking later, well, there was a crack in the tile or something, and what if that meant something and she didn't catch it? You guys, that is not our job. That is not your job. That is literally the reason that we have an inspector, an inspection. It's not on us to catch those things. And then there's other qualified people if they're needed to come out and look at things. So take that off of your shoulders. Don't even put that on yourself. You're going to get yourself into trouble. So that's kind of my advice on that. So the next time I get asked this question, I'm going to shoot you this video, and hopefully that helps. Talk to you soon.